there, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. Let me grab a few more things and we can get this thing started. Alright, now that we got everything laid out on the table, let's go over this. This is episode 2 of the Eclipse build. So let's get this. Cue that intro. Boom! I really love that intro. I hope you guys do too. But in today's video, we're completely overhauling the brakes. And by that, we're talking new rotors, new pads, new brake lines, and we're going to paint the calipers. So let's do this. I'm going to flip this camera around, show you everything we got here, so that you can see how we're going to make this vehicle stop a hell of a lot better. Let's flip the camera. So starting left to right, we have our primer for our calipers. We got a bottle of brake fluid, .3. I actually have 2 other bottles because I don't know how much that's going to take. Then right next to them, we got the 2 boxes of pads and rotors from Powerstop. Shout out Powerstop for sponsoring this build in the channel. If you guys need Powerstop brakes, link in the description. Next to them here, we got Doorman. What is that, Doorman? Well, that is actually new wheel studs. So I have 20 new wheel studs because we're going to end up having to replace all of the wheel studs from the original ones. Back here, we got the stainless steel brake line kit. Get more response out of your brakes. And then last but not least, we got the 2 bottles of VHT caliper paint. So we're going to paint the calipers red. The reason that we have to change all of the wheel studs, this is not necessary for you if you're starting out, but for me, when I purchased the car, it came with a really fat wheel spacer on it, so they actually cut the original wheel studs for the spacers to fit. So I don't want the spacers on there anymore. We're just going to put a wider tire, so I don't need the spacers. So with that, we got to take the spacers off, but then we have to replace the wheel studs because the factory wheel studs were cut. So we're going to just replace everything, redo all the brakes. This thing is going to stop beautifully. Now we're going to open this door and we're going to head outside. Whew, don't mind my squinty eyes. It is really bright and sunny out here today. It's crazy. But the reason that we're changing these brakes is because I've been neglecting them. I've owned this car for about 6 years now. Been driving it stock, but I've been neglecting the brakes on them. So one of the reasons is because of those damn wheel spacers. They were a pain in the ass to get off, and I knew they were going to be. But we finally got to the point where it needs to happen. We're going to start throwing power adders to this thing, so we need to make sure the brakes are on par. So as I'm walking out to the car here, I'm going to flip the camera around so that you guys can see what we're working with and what was going on here. Here's the fronts. The fronts aren't too terrible. A lot of surface rust on them, but other than that, those will probably clean up pretty well. Of course, definitely need to get repainted. They're not in good condition at all. So I'll show you here. I had to take these spacers off the car, and like this one, that was a chore and a half to get those off. But we took all of them off. Show you here. So we got those off, and then if you look at the rears, the rear brakes are really jacked and nasty. Not just the calipers, but those rotors are too. But not only with the pads and the rotors, but like I said, we're going to also do the rubber brake hoses. So I got this hose off already. They're off on all of the cars just because it was a real pain in the ass to get that done. This one was leaking here, so I figured might as well go ahead and do the stainless steel brake line since I already have it off. Alright, so with this brake line disconnected from here, all I got to do is take this 12mm bolt off and it'll come free, and then the brake line's just connected to the back of the caliper here. So what I got to do is take a 14mm, there's one here, one down, and then it's also one here to hold the caliper bracket, and second one down underneath. So we're just going to pop off the caliper, the bracket. We're going to pop off this bolt to get the line so that the whole caliper line can come off so that we can start working on that. I'm not going to bore you showing you how I do this, so the next time you see us, these will be off and the caliper will be free. Real quick, I want to show you while I'm doing this, is this bolt here is actually a 17mm, not a 14. So that's a 17. The one back there is also a 17. So The bolts on the caliper and the caliper bracket are 17s. This one is a 12 though, so not a 14 but a 17. Let's keep going. So here on the table we got the brake calipers and the caliper brackets, brake pad brackets, whatever you call them. So you don't have to do this unless you're going to be painting them. So with me painting them, we're going to go ahead and get them all cleaned up and ready to go for paint. So what I like to use is just these drill attachment wire brushes. I got a big one and a small one. If you don't have a drill or the wire brush wheels, you can use just your basic wire brush. I only use these in really tight spots just because it takes forever. These will make clean up a breeze. But I don't know if you could tell or not, but there's already a lot of dirt and grime on the table just from sitting them down. So we're going to go ahead, get this knocked out, get it all prepped, and so that we can get it ready for paint. One thing too that I should mention is we should be taking off anything rubber or plastic. You only want metal on here because these wire brushes will destroy anything that's not metal. So again, we're just going to pop all those off of the brackets. So we ended up cleaning the brackets, all set. I hung them from a string up at the top of my carport and back down. Got them spaced out. So as you can see, this one here is actually, hopefully you can see, but that one's a brand new shiny one. One of my calipers were actually seized and broken when I tried to get it prepped for painting. So I ended up running to AutoZone, and then I had to drive over an hour to get to the AutoZone that actually had the part that I needed. But we got them all on there. We got them masked the way that I want them masked. So the next step is going to be to primer them. So we got them all primed and painted. I went 2 coats on all of them. We got all the calipers and all the brackets done. Like I said, 2 coats of primer each. We're going to let all that set up and then it's time for paint. Now that all the priming's done and dried, we're going to hit it with some of this VHT caliper paint. We're going to go with a red one. I got 2 cans. I don't know if I need all 2, but we'll take them, we'll find out. Let's go see how this turns out. All right, while the brake calipers dry and set up, let's go ahead and unbox these beautiful boxes we got from Powerstop brakes. So the first step, we got their extreme ceramic brake pads. So these are their Z26 carbon fiber ceramic brake pads. These are their top of the line, best stopping distance, best stopping power brake pads that you can get. The next thing that's in this box another box and all the new rubber seals. And for those of you that don't know, I use full Powerstop on my Subaru build, so I was definitely excited to work with them on the Eclipse build as well because I've really liked their products that I've gotten from them. So these are their rear disc or their rear calipers. So of course had to go drilled and slotted, but boom. One thing I like is they do mark it, so this is the rear passenger brake caliper, and then in here I also have the rear driver's side caliper, both in that box right there. Box number dos, number 2, whatever you want to call it. Let's get this one open now. So in this one, again, the Z26 carbon ceramic brake pads. These ones are for the front. And one thing with these to remember as well, over here, it not only comes with the pads, but it also comes with the new installation hardware, so you don't have to pick anything up. These kits from Powerstop are one size do it all, so you don't have to go and get anything else. I take that back. I think the only other thing you have to get is installation grease, but I have so much here I don't need to get that. Just like the first box, another box inside of a box. So let's check out these front rotors. So again, in true Powerstop fashion, they come well packaged. Look at these beautiful things here. Boom. And again, front passenger. All of them are always going to be labeled. They come with great packaging. They come with another piece of cardboard in between, plus all of the plastic wrap on them. So you know you're going to get your product safe and sound with no damage, which is very, very awesome. So let's go ahead, finish up painting the brake calipers, get them ready to go so that we can start getting this stuff installed, as well as the new stainless steel brake lines. And we got them all painted up now. So I did 2 coats. I was able to get all 2 coats done with 1 can of VHT. It literally took all the coats I had, but they are all done. Came out pretty good. I get that to focus more. There we go. Came out really good. And there's one of the rear calipers. Again, it came out really well. After 24 hours, the brake calipers and the brackets are fully dried and complete. Came out really freaking good. I'm happy with the way they turned out. Only way you can tell which caliper was the new one is based on the shiny drain plug. So all of them, even coats, looks fantastic. Those are done now. So let's move on to the next. What left here is the hub. So these are the wheel studs that we're going to take out. The way that I normally do it is I always hit the top one, rotate the hub so that the one I'm working on is always at the top. Super, super easy. All you have to do is take a mini sledgehammer or whatever metal hammer you have and just hit this as hard as you can, and it'll back the bolt out. And then once we get them out, I'll show you how you put the new ones in. So the next step was supposed to be putting all the new lug bolts in. One other thing with the lug bolts, if you look at the intro, I told you I went to AutoZone and got a bunch of the Dormans. I got all 20 of them. Well, they don't fit, surprisingly. I was able to get 3 of the 20 on, and it actually broke my impact gun. So I went to Mitsubishi and I bought the actual Mitsubishi studs. There's the part number for you. They work really great. So I've already put 1 of them on to make sure they fit. And then, like I said, I got 3 of them from the Dorman on. And the Dorman are just thicker around. So this collar here, there, that collar is thicker, so it doesn't go in. All right, let me show you how this cool tool works. So what you do is you take your stud, you put it right behind the wheel hub, and you push it in, just like you would. And then instead of putting the washers in between the hub itself and your lug nut, you'll actually put this tool, and that tool will go in there. And this tool works better than washers because it actually centers it a lot easier than the actual washers do. So you just put this on, then thread your lug stud in, or your lug nuts onto the stud, and then just take a ratchet or an impact and impact it, and it'll pull it through. The tool has a ball bearing on the back to help it, again, with easy installation, easy leveling. So again, $5 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for it. I mean, you're going to pay about $5 for the size washers you need anyway, so just get the tool, and then you always have the tool if you ever need to change studs again.
So what you do is you grab your bolt, you put it behind the, what's it called? Hub. And then you take whatever this is, and you put it in here. And then you're going to tighten it, then you're going to grab your tool, and then you're going to get that in.
While we wait for the rain to stop so that we can start putting those lug studs in, or the wheel studs, whatever you want to call them, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping for the new brake lines. So these are the front brake lines. They have a bracket there to mount to the knuckle. So we're going to have to take this clip off, and then that will allow this entire section here to come off, and then we're going to have to then put it on the new ones. That is the new brake line, the stainless steel one. And we're going to replace this old rubber hose with it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Many months later.
Okay, we finally got this set up. We got the brake line hooked up there. Then we'll hook this part onto the caliper when we go to assemble the brakes. We got the hub on. We had to get this stub. Let me tell you something, this hub is a hub from absolute hell. I've spent 2 months trying to get these brakes on, and all because of these fucking wheel studs right here. So I went to AutoZone and I got the doormans. They didn't fit. They also didn't fit the wheel hubs on any other cars. So then I went to Mitsubishi, bought Mitsubishi branded. They fit every one of my wheel hubs except this one. Upon further inspection, I realized that this hub was aftermarket, was replaced at some point, and the wheel hub studs are not the factory hub studs. So then I went back to AutoZone. AutoZone told me they couldn't help me. I went to O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's gave me what they thought would fit. Brought them back. They still didn't fit. Went back to O'Reilly's. I took a caliper and I measured the hole. I measured the length. Went back to O'Reilly's with the measurement. Said I need wheel studs that measure this. They put it in their computer. They found out that it was the wheel stud to a 2003 Hyundai Genesis, Genesis SUV. I don't remember which one it was. They had to special order them in. It took about 3 weeks to get them in, special ordered, and it fits beautifully. So this has been 2 months in the waiting for this one goddamn wheel stud, but it's finally in and ready to go. So let's go ahead and get these brakes on.
Bye.